Okay. The lighting may be crappy, but light for depth. Anyways, I'm back with my predictions for UFC 73 stacked. And this is a pretty good card, so it's going to be a lot of hard predictions, and I wouldn't be betting money on any of these fights, probably. There are very few I see myself betting money on. But anyways, start from the bottom, work our way up, like I always do. Mark Boschek versus Frank Edgar in a 155-pound match. I've seen Boschek fight. Good ground game, decent striking game. Frankie Edgar, of course, we all saw against Tyson Griffin. His great heart. It's pretty good stand-up, actually, which surprised me. Good wrestling game and a decent ground game. I'm going to take both. I'm going to take Edgar in this because I think Boschek's going to have a hard time getting Edgar down. Just because I think Edgar's a superior wrestler. I think although Boschek can win on the feet, Edgar can take Boschek down, and of course judges Nasdaq score the takedown very heavily, so I see a decision win. Next we have Chris Lytle versus TBD. This was supposed to be Drew Fickett, but Fickett pulled out, got injured. I don't know the story there. I would have taken Fickett in this fight against Lytle, but I think Lytle probably wins against whoever they find to replace Fickett if they do, because I mean it's short notice. And it's hard to prepare for a guy like Chris Lytle, who's like so good on the feet, so good on the ground, in such a short period of time. That's just my opinion. But of course, that's not an actual pick, because for all I know, I don't know, they could pull George St. Pierre out of the butt, him like Chris Lytle, and then obviously I'm picking GSP. We have next another 155-pound match, Diego Sarieva versus the long-awaited return of George Grisel. Well, not on my part. I don't particularly care for Georgie. Could take Georgie in this one. I think he's got better stand-up than Diego Sarieva, and I think he's probably a little bit slicker on the ground than Diego. So I take Grisel. Now, two guys I actually rather liked from the Ultimate Fighter seasons, Season 3 and Season 1 respectively. Mike Nichols and Stephen Bonner. Now, a lot of people are going to trash talk Mike Nichols for that fight against Matt Hamill, his windmill punching, but I got news for you. The man had a broken nose, and I'm not sure if it's been broken before, and the key is when you get it broken the first time, you're reacting in funny ways, and he was apparently protecting the nose. I mean, we saw him fight Wes Combs. He looked very good against Combs, and he's looked good in some of his smaller fights. That being said, his strength is the ground, and I don't think his wrestling's all that good. And Stephen Bonner is also pretty good on the ground. I think Bonner's better on the feet. So I'm going to pick Stephen Bonner, but I'm looking for Nichols to put up a good fight. He's Texas Crazy Horse Herring versus Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Taking Nog, clearly. He's beaten Herring twice already. It was pretty convincing both times, so I'm going to take Nog. I think he's going to submit Herring. We'll see. Now, the first of our title fights, the lightweight title fight, Hermes Franca challenging champion Sean Shirk. I'm going to take Shirk because Shirk is a better wrestler than Franca, and that means takedown. I think his stand-up is more technical, certainly, than Franca. Although Franca has racks in his hand and has knockout power like you wouldn't believe. But that same note, Shirk is much more technical, throws the punch better, you know what I mean. I think he'll win the stand-up. I think he'll take Franca down, more or less it will, because Franca's takedown defense, to be honest, never needed to be good. I mean, the guy still got on the ground. I don't think he ever really worked that so much, really. I don't think he can submit Shirk. Shirk's body is like perfectly suited to submission defense with short, stubby arms and legs, and basically no neck. Yeah, so I'm taking Shirk. Tito Ortiz, Rashad Evans. This one's a hard one to call to me because Tito's been in the game a long time and Rashad hasn't. Now, Rashad is undefeated and he's got some decent wins on the time, okay? I mean, like Jason Lambert is no can. Even Sean Selman is not really a can, and, neither is, basically anyone he's fought except for maybe Brad Imes, who has great potential, but as of right now, is not a great fighter. I'm going to say it, Evans probably has definitely the better college wrestling. And his wrestling has translated well to the UFC. And this probably means I think he probably can take Tito down. And probably keep him there, because Tito's game from the bottom has never impressed me all that much. That being said, I think Tito's Tito's game, man. He's crafty, and it's hard to really ever count him out. But I'm gonna go with Rashad Sugar Evans and hope he, changes that nickname. Next, we have Alvin Robinson versus Kenny Kinslow Florian. I'm taking Florian in this one. Robinson's a very good submission guy. His stand-up is not, terrible, but it's not very good either. At least in my opinion. Kenny is the complete package, I think. May get a shot at the 155-pound title in the future, as long as Sean Sherk isn't holding it. So I think we can agree that Sean Sherk will waste him again. But against a guy if Hermes Franca somehow, defies my logic and beats Sean Sherk, I mean, Kenny's probably in line at that point. Not the next man in line, because that's definitely one of the following: Joe Stevenson, Kurt Pellegrino, Roger Huerta. I think that one of those three guys is the next. Or BJ Penn if he stays at 155. Finally, we get to the middleweight title fight: Nathan Marquardt and Anderson Spider Silva. A lot of people saying Spider doesn't have a chance. A lot of people saying Nate doesn't have a chance. So the opinions are very ranged. Simply put, Silva's a better striker, and although Silva is great on the ground, I think if Nate gets on top of him, he's better than him. Now, if Silva somehow gets on top of Nate, because it's Silva, because I don't think per se either is better on the ground. It's just positioning. Now, what is different is Nate Marquardt is a much better wrestler than Anderson Silva and can take Anderson down. I mean, we saw Travis Lutter do it. Yes, I know Anderson had repaired knee surgery, weeks before, but that, in my opinion, that only evens up the fact that Travis Lutter was in a place where you never want to go into a fight being in, and that is mentally beaten. So I'm going to take Marquardt. I could see him TKOing Anderson Silva, and people are going to say he was too good of a striker, too great of a chin to be TKO'd. People, TKO, ref stoppage. Doesn't even really have anything to do with the chin. So yeah, I'm gonna say Marquardt does TKO him or decisions him. Don't see him submitting Anderson, but that's my take on it. And it was definitely one of the better cards in a while. I mean, 2 title fights, a big light heavyweight showdown, Nog's debut. I mean, all across the board, pretty good fights. Anyways, happy Canada's Day to those of you in Canada, and peace. I know Canada's Day is now for 2 days. So.